Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host, as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be doing our AEW All In predictions. So, as of this point, there are 10 matches confirmed for AEW's All In pay per view taking place tomorrow night. There's 9 on the main card and only 1 at this moment on the pre show, which with it being a 2 hour pre-show, we'd expect maybe 1 or 2 more matches to be announced either today or even tomorrow. But obviously, we're just going to go with the ones that we have right now. So, as always, feel free to let me know your predictions in the comment section too, and we can have a look through and see who is right when it comes to the match results. So, match number 1 we're going to look at is on the pre-show. It is Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. So the winning team of this one will decide the stipulation between Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale at All Out. That will be for Willow's CMLL Women's Championship. So this storyline has been ongoing for months now, with Statlander and Willow joining forces originally and becoming very close friends until Stokely got involved, with Chris eventually then turning on Willow. Now these two have faced many times recently, but like I said, their match at All Out will be for Willow's CMLL Women's Championship after Chris picked up a victory against it in a non-title match. Usually I would probably go with the heels with this type of situation, with the stipulation being they get to choose the match. But for me, I just can't look past the fact of Tomohiro Ishii. So unless there's some sort of shenanigans that take place, which is quite likely with Stokely Hathaway being involved, maybe the chain as we've seen before. Also, I feel with Willow losing their last match together, like I said, that she needs a win, especially as champion going into the match at All Out. So I think with all that being said, for me, I'm going to go with Ishii and Willow. So next up we have Timeless Toni Storm versus the Glamour Mariah May for the AEW Women's Championship. For those who say AEW don't do storytelling, you need to watch the build-up package for this match. This has been the best set-up match for me going into the pay-per-view. The turn after Mariah won the Owen Hart Cup was done perfectly and looked brutal. Toni has been a great women's champion since she changed her character up and has beaten pretty much every female on the roster with, probably besides Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker. But can she defeat her protege? AEW have done well building up Mariah to where I think she takes the win here and becomes the new AEW Women's Champion. Because I feel like say with Toni pretty much facing every other woman on the roster, if she retains, I think the only natural way to go would be Mercedes Moné. Whereas if you put the belt on Mariah, you can open up the door to so many matches that we haven't seen just yet. So Mariah gets the win for me. Up next, Jack Perry versus Darby Allin in the coffin match for the TNT Championship. So these two have the potential to be one of the best rivalries in AEW. Darby is one of the faces of the company and has been since the start. He's massively over with fans and is the biggest face right now in the company, although occasionally does blur the lines, especially with a flamethrower. Jack Perry, since debuting the scapegoat character, has been must watch. Unpredictable in what he will do next. His promo work has improved greatly too, with the backstage videos and on the microphone in the ring. This match came about after Darby threatened once again to set Jack Perry on fire in the Blood and Guts match. So I feel like this one could be seen as like a 50-50 really. But Jack hasn't had the title long and has just debuted last week a new look to the championship. Darby has the advantage with the match stipulation, but that being said, with that also including no disqualifications, we can expect some elite interference. Darby also has a world title match pending in the future, but for this one, I'm going to go with Jack Perry to retain. Like I say, he's not long debuted the new custom version of the TNT Championship. He's not held the title too long. I feel like Darby losing in a stipulation match doesn't take away his momentum going into the world title picture, especially if we have interference from the elite. Obviously, the Young Bucks are in a match, and Carter is not booked in a match. So we could see a Carter help Jack Perry win. Up next, we have Chris Jericho versus Hook for the FTW Championship. If Hook loses this match, he can never challenge for the title again while Jericho holds it. And to me, that's a great idea. We've seen Hook beat Jericho on more than one occasion now, but if I was the booker here, I'd have Jericho win so that Hook can move on from the FTW Championship. He's been stuck in that division that technically isn't even a division and needs to move on. I may be one of the very few, but I've really enjoyed the Jericho learning tree gimmick. I feel like the people that don't really enjoy it probably don't actually understand what it's actually about. But they both definitely need to move on from one another after this match, because it's been ongoing for a while now and I don't feel like it's improved either one. So for me, I would pick Chris Jericho to retain the title, like I say, push Hook in a new direction, maybe towards the TNT Championship against Jack Perry once again. Reignite that rivalry. That was good. To the Casino Gauntlet match for a shot at the World Championship at a future date. Now this is an interesting one because most of the participants aren't actually announced. As seen on this week's Dynamite, Hangman Page has been confirmed for the match. From what we know so far, Orange Cassidy will enter first after winning a triple threat match to earn the right. Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly are also announced, with Evil Uno confirming he was to compete until Hangman attacked him with a chair, so we're not sure whether he will actually still enter or whether they'll play on the lines of him being injured. There are usually around 21 entrants in this match, and this is where I would expect Ricochet to pop up if the reports are true and he is signed to AEW. We could also see some returns, such as maybe Jay White if he's back fit, Adam Cole, or even Wardlow. Wardlow hasn't been booked for a long while now. In this match, we could probably see a few debuts, like say Ricochet, possibly Bobby Lashley, Michael Oku. You know, there's a good few names that have been thrown around linked to AEW, so we could see one or maybe more debut in this match. So this one is a hard to predict match, as you'd like to say. You don't know most of the participants that are involved, but obviously based on the ones that are confirmed up to now, I'm going to say Hangman Page. So up next, we will look at Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker for the TBS Championship. Now, these are arguably the two biggest stars in AEW's women's division right now, and they will come face to face in the ring for the very first time. When Mercedes announced to be all elite, I didn't know what to expect. At the time, she was one of the very best in WWE and had to offer, but then she got complacent and her matches, well, sucked. She had a short stint in New Japan Pro Wrestling that didn't really tell us too much before she got injured. But from what I have seen from her so far in the ring in AEW, she has impressed me. Maybe that's because my expectations were low. Who knows? Britt Baker, on the other hand, I've been waiting to return for so long. I've been a massive fan of Britt's for a long time now. And I'd be surprised if she returned and lost in her first match. So for me, I'm picking Britt to win and become new TBS champion. As she's held the AEW Women's Championship before, but she's not been TBS champion. And plus, when she's held that belt, in the ring this week on Dynamite. You can't say it doesn't suit her. Up next, we're going to look at the Patriarchy versus the Bang Bang Gang versus the House of Black versus Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club in a 4-way ladder match for the AEW Trios Championships. That was a mouthful, isn't it? So where to start with this one? Well, Christian Cage has been on the run of his career. His character work has been excellent. In-ring wise, he's had some of the best matches of his career up to date. Add in the monster kill switch and the impressive Nick Wayne, and you have quite the faction here. The undeniable turn from kill switch on Christian is gonna pop so good. The Bang Bang Gang have been a fun team since they aligned together, and although we have seen them as Trios champions before, that was with Jay White rather than Juice Robinson. The House of Black are one of the best acts in AEW since they debuted. I loved when they were the Trios champions and did the house rule stipulations for their title defences. The last team is an interesting one. Pac teaming up with Claudio and Wheeler. We know Pac and Claudio have gotten into it over the years in AEW, so it will be interesting to see if they can form properly as a team. With Danielson on his way out of AEW, whether that be at this pay-per-view or later in the year, this then leaves a gap in the BCC for Pac. His style definitely suits theirs. So that being said, that is going to be my pick. Pac and the BCC win, and it's the start of Pac being included into the Blackpool Combat Club officially. Obviously, Ray Fenix and Penta are on the way over to WWE, so that leaves Pac floundering if he's not pushed into a storyline. So for me, throw him in with the Blackpool Combat Club. Up next, we look at MJF versus Will Ospreay for the AEW American Championship. The first match between these two was phenomenal. Nearly 60 minutes of great action. The storyline has gotten even better since, with MJF turning the International Championship into the American Championship, the same way that Will Ospreay turned the IWGP United States Championship into the UK Championship. Their last promo exchange on Dynamite this past week was brilliant, and I don't see this match being the end between these two. I'm going for Ospreay to win this one on home soil and have him restored the International Championship. This then ties them at one apiece to lead into a third and final match at either All Out or even Wrestle Dream. The third match would be an easy setup too if MJF continues his USA gimmick. As you can say, Ospreay had an advantage, an unfair advantage of being obviously in the UK. And let's not forget, with the banned move of the Tiger Driver, banned, Ospreay's decided to ban it himself, hasn't he, as it hurt Danielson. But we've seen backstage, Danielson has actually told Ospreay, hit him with the Tiger Driver. So if Ospreay then hits the Tiger Driver at Wembley, the crowd is gonna go absolutely berserk. So I'd expect if he does hit the Tiger Driver, that's how he wins the match and the title. Because MJF actually said in the promo as well, the only move you can do that will beat me, you won't do it. So up next, we look at the Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed for the AEW Tag Team titles. The top 3 tag teams in the company facing off against each other for the tag titles. We've seen the Young Bucks face FTR in a great match at last year's All In, and this time they've added the Acclaimed, who have been showing more of a heelish side than what we've been used to so far in AEW. All 3 teams have held the tag titles before, so that makes it harder to pick a winner. I wouldn't expect the Bucks to retain here though, as obviously it's been talked about a lot lately. They have limited dates and they've only been wrestled in limited matches this year, so I'd expect them to drop the belts so that we can see the tag team titles on TV more than what we have. So, I mean, I don't really know if there's that much of a difference in who you pick between FTR and the Acclaimed, but I'm going to go FTR on this one, with the Acclaimed turning full heel afterwards, and then them running with the story that they've started at the moment of FTR versus the Acclaimed. But I feel like if the Acclaimed win the tag belts, then it'll just carry on as is. But I feel like if FTR win the tag belts, then the Acclaimed will beat them down afterwards, turn heel, and adding more to that story. So that's what I'm going to go with, FTR as champions. So now we look at the main event, the last match on the card, which is Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship, with the added stipulation of if Bryan Danielson loses, he has to retire from in-ring action. This match is must-see for all wrestling fans. Swerve Strickland for me has been Wrestler of the Year for 2024. Great in-ring ability, and his character work since this time last year has been the best it's been in his career. Danielson has had the best run of his career since joining AEW, showing fans just what he is capable of without restraints. I've gone in and I've looked at this match and I've seen as 50-50 from the get-go. Even when they added the stipulation, as we already knew, Danielson is due to retire this year at some point anyway. When Sting was retiring, Tony wanted him to hold the title so that he would always be tied to the AEW in the history books. That being said, I would expect the exact same here with Danielson, with him not holding the title yet in AEW. My pick is going to be Danielson gets the win and becomes AEW World Champion, tying him to AEW's history books for good. So there you have it. That is my picks for AEW All In. Like I say, 9 on the main card and 1 on the pre-show. So do you agree with my picks? Let me know in the comment section below. Give me your run of predictions and we can have a look after the pay-per-view and see who got closer. Can you beat me in predicting the matches? Let's have a tally up at the end. So let me know, like say, in the comment section who you are picking for each and every match for the biggest pay-per-view of the year. And as always, don't forget to give us a like, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And be sure, as always, to stay tuned for more wrestling related content coming your way from the wrestling group very, very soon.